Hello, everybody. My name is Nora Zimmerman, and I am a branding and a website designer. And I'm here today with Sarah Holding, who took the course Embodying Your Brand. And we're just going to have a chat about her experience. Thank you so much for being here, Sarah. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, thank you very much, Nora. Yes, well, I'm a children's author, and I was at the point where my current website had been up for almost 10 years and realizing that it did need a big overhaul. And I didn't just want to kind of go in there and make a few design changes or even, smaller than that, tweak it. I knew I wanted to do a kind of major rethink. I think my whole approach to being an author has changed over those 10 years. I really feel like I've embodied the idea of being an author now. So the idea of doing Embody Your Brand as a course, as a prelude to thinking about my website, thinking about a photo shoot and so on, made absolute sense. And very timely that you had put it on to Thinkific.
Brilliant, fantastic. So yeah, my first question would be, did you have, of course you said this already, you had in mind doing your website and planning your photo shoot, so you did it with all of that in mind?
I did, yes, and I was trying to sort of get myself into a headspace where I had no preconceived ideas. I realised that I in the past I've felt quite attached as a designer myself. I trained initially as an architect. I know I can get a bit attached to a certain idea or a certain way I think I want to present something, and then I'm a bit blind to other ideas and other ways of coming to decisions. And so I wanted to kind of force myself to kind of take a different approach, to take a much more conscious, embodied, energetic approach to it. So it was absolutely aligned with how I wanted to approach this project.
I like that. Yes, because also a lot of people, when they come to do, a website or a brand, they have, like you said, some preconceived ideas about colors that they like or fonts that they like or a specific look. And there's not, it's not good or bad, but like you're saying, it kind of limits, the expansiveness of what's possible. But also there's something that I always talk about, which is what works and what doesn't work, which is very different to what I like and what I dislike, or what I prefer and what I don't prefer. And as a designer, my job is to do things that really work to communicate rather than things that I like and I prefer.
Mm-hmm.
So I really love that distinction. Brilliant. So yeah, I would love to know your experience of the course, any insights, results, what happened?
So yeah, I mean, the first thing was that I really felt a sense of warmth and enjoyment. There was something very restful about the whole look and feel of what you've done and how you put the whole package together that I really responded to straight away. I thought it had just adopted the right tone. It felt very calm. Your voice was very encouraging. And it was that kind of lovely combination of, I felt it was very empowering stuff, but you were delivering it in a really humble way. And so that just really resonated with me. I didn't feel as though I was being told to do this and told to do that, and kind of I didn't enter into it with any sense of fear that I was going to get it all wrong or anything like that. It was a very open approach that you kind of communicated, which I loved. And then I think after that, because I've never done a course on Thinkific before, where you click on different videos and then click on different resources. So I found it kind of quite exciting. It was sort of full of goodies, but the pace was very enjoyable. It was so not rushed. The videos were not too long. Everything seemed to kind of have the right timing and the right, the right sequence and the right energy to it. And I felt like I was receiving a series of transmissions, really, rather than going on a little course, which was exactly what I wanted, but kind of also not what I expected. I didn't know. I think if I'd have known that at the beginning, it might have affected how I did it. So the kind of fact that I didn't realise it was going to feel like transmissions was better in a way. And I found the meditations really powerful. So the minute you were saying close your eyes and have your, you know, something, pen and paper ready to journal or whatever, that was when, you know, I could feel my third eye opening. I could feel that I was, my whole body was involved, and that was when the key insights about my brand got delivered. Obviously, I know you intended that, but it felt quite magical, really.
I love that. I love that. There was like one expectation, but then it was going in a different direction, and you just relaxed in that direction that it was going.
Totally, that's exactly it. And it helped me go really deep, to get to what I realized was like the hidden core of what I want to convey, but I'd never given thought to. It was very, like, I realized some things are so deeply embodied, you haven't even acknowledged them to yourself. And you might be communicating them in here and there in what you do, but if so, it's sort of by accident and without your conscious, you know, involvement or awareness. So bringing all those things to the forefront of my awareness as I kind of go into, you know, what is my design brief and so on, that felt like a new habit, if you like, to adopt. And it felt very, it felt just as though I knew I would be able to trust my intuition about decision making, rather than engage my, you know, left side of my brain and always have to be pass through my rational evaluation, if you like.
Fantastic. So would you say you've got clarity about what you want to communicate now, you know, going forward to, you know, redoing your website and preparing? I know you're preparing for a photo shoot. Would you say, you know, you've got more clarity about how to move forward with all of those?
Yeah, I mean, clarity is really the key word here, because it's become so much less complicated. The whole thing feels more exciting and less complicated, and not at all overwhelming or sorry, my phone just went off there. Not at all overwhelming or daunting, you know, as a project. So I think the main thing was this kind of energetically being visible, and that's kind of come through, not in terms of real visibility, you know, like kind of allowing myself to be kind of put center stage, if you like, and the front and center. Going back to that stuff about the fascination profile was very useful and interesting, and reinforcing all of that, which I realized I'd done the fascination thing a long time after I'd done my website. So my website doesn't embody that at all. So it really showed me, when I visualized my brand as a place and as a person, I realized how much of a distinction there was between me and my brand. And I think before they'd been so overlapped, that they were, you know, synonymous with each other. And now I could sort of pull them apart and see them as two different things. And that was really, really useful. And particularly when I was invited to visualize and see my client, because to me, my client's a little bit complicated, perhaps, compared to some of the other people doing your course, because my client really is a child who is not really looking up where my book is on the internet or anything like that. They've just kind of come into contact with my book almost fortuitously, organically. So I then have to find a teacher or a parent to do the buying part. But ultimately, my client is this child with a love of reading and you know, wants to feel inspired and wants to feel taken on an adventure by a piece of creative writing, by a story. And so seeing them, that was like, I felt quite humbled then, because I thought, oh my goodness, you know, this gorgeous little child, you know, sitting on the floor, reading my book, and just it was very intimate, and I can hold that image now in my mind when I'm thinking about everything that I do. So I hadn't had that before. That was really lovely.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I absolutely, when you were talking about the child reading and I had this image of a child, I just got goosebumps. It was just like, yeah, that's so sacred, you know.
Yes.
Sacred.
Yes,
Was
it
that
got
really
to that place. It definitely got to that place, that the sort of sacred heart of what it is that I'm trying to do. And what brings me joy as well is when I can have that feeling that the child is completely taken up with something that I've given to them. Is beautiful. You know, they don't need to tell you any words. You just can see it in their body language. Yeah, so getting to the 10 words at the end of the process for me was the easiest thing ever, because the process had taken me to that place where I could just conjure the words, you know, without any sort of kind of my thoughts intruding. They just kind of like came as a download, and I could see my new website. I could just see it as
Wow.
so much more powerful and personable. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for sharing so openly as well. I love
My pleasure. It was a really powerful journey to go on, and yeah, I underestimated it completely, and I was completely bowled over by the end of it. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'd love to know the names of the books for people that are listening.
Oh yes, yes. So there's the Sea Bean trilogy that's aimed at younger children, 8 to 12 years old, and then there's a book for young adults called Chameleon that is aimed at teenagers. And then during lockdown, I also published a collection of poems called How to Write a Poem. So they're all under the name Sarah Holding. You can get them online.
How to Write a Poem. That's the one that made me laugh a lot, isn't it? Oh, thank you, Sarah. It's been wonderful to chat with you, and thank you for all your feedback and insights.
My pleasure.